we get a glimpse into the DarkForce Universe. Peggy's relationship status gets a little more complicated, and Whitney Frost takes over the council. On this week's double episode of Agent Carter, Season 2, Episodes 6 and 7, Life of the Party and Monsters. Alright, spoilers ahead, just so you've been warned. So we get another 2-hour episode of Agent Carter, a nice double episode, and we get to see the return of Dottie Underwood. One of the great foils for Peggy, and really just a fun character to introduce. She has a lot of fun with Peggy, with the rest of the characters around. Always great to see her. Plus, Jack Thompson, he's getting a little more into the council's pocket, definitely more than happy to betray the people around him in order to further his own goals. And we have Whitney Frost just cutting through everything. She is taking over, she is in charge, and she is scaring the crap out of everyone around her. So because it's 2 hours, I don't want to sit here for a half hour. We're going to try and just hit some high points. Hopefully not go too long today. All right, let's start off with Dottie. Again, Dottie Underwood, great to have her return, a great setup because Peggy needs someone to get into this party and get the sample of the blood from Whitney Frost so we can get some Dark Force that will hopefully stabilize Wilkes. He's working to build a device that's going to help stabilize him. Just needs a little Dark Force. Only person that can get in that nobody's going to recognize is Dottie. And just, again, a fun foil for Peggy. The back and forth between them, the kind of knowing smiles and playful banter, but also antagonistic, is really well done and really well presented. One question, though. How exactly did Peggy find Dottie? She was picked up very early on by Vernon Masters and the guys at the FBI and dragged off of the SSR. And there really doesn't seem to be any pursuit or investigation or anything. Peggy's just, I need Dottie. Well, here's Dottie right here. That was kind of iffy. I think that they're in New York from the way when she stepped out. That would make much more sense. But again, just kind of a breeze over of the whole locating and getting in and setting everything up. But otherwise, okay. So we get Dottie, and she agrees, of course, to go work with Peggy. 1, she likes Peggy. 2, she's got nothing else to do. And 3, that just enables her another chance to try and escape. Great scenes with her in the party. Love that she hid in the armoire at the office, though it was kind of funny because her nose is like fully sticking out of the holes right there. Hi, I'm right here. I'm not hiding or anything like that. That was kind of fun, but as she sees what happens she realizes this, she's definitely in and over her head. And then the whole sequence when Frost breaks her. That's really a nice setup because we've had it set up since the beginning of how tough Dottie is and how really you can't get to her. We had the whole sequence with Jack Thompson in the beginning when he took over the interrogation from Peggy Carter and how ineffective that was. And then we bring in Vernon Masters, who starts to bring out all of the fun torture tools and just explaining, oh yeah, this is effective, and no, we can use this. And Dottie just laughing him off. Just, hey, I've pulled out my own teeth and my own fingernails and hair, and I've burned myself with a torch. Whatever you're gonna do, it's nothing. But like we learned with Rufus a couple episodes ago, people that think they can't break, everybody breaks. And for Dottie, that just took a visit from Whitney Frost. And man, that was effective. The shots that they did of just, one, you could imagine the pain as it starts to go in as she grabs the face and that dark force energy just pours into her. But that shot of it coming out of her mouth like she was drowning, it was just perfect. As soon as they're off, she's like, okay, you want to know this, this, and this, here you go. This is what Peggy's doing, and this is what... That is what's going to happen. And I think it was really nice to have spent the time to build up this character and her toughness and then take her down in a single stroke. It just very demonstrative of the power that Whitney Frost has at her fingertips, and I think it really boosts up the immediacy and the danger that we have for the rest of the characters. Now, of course, speaking of Whitney Frost, she's had a nice little arc in the episode herself. A lot of suspicion at the end of last episode and then at the beginning of this one as her husband's trying to be very supportive. Oh, I got you meeting with the council. Yeah, no, I told him all about. I know I haven't been supportive of you. I'm smelling trap. You know, just the light should have been going off right there. And as she gets brought into the council, that's exactly what happens. They attempt to take her without really understanding the depths of the power, which is kind of a stupid move on the council, but they're arrogant white men. That's what they're going to do. They see a girl come in the 1940s and think that she has something to contribute, and they don't respect that. Again, kind of a through line that continues throughout this with Peggy, with Dottie, with Whitney Frost, a lot of dealing with the world doesn't expect much from you, but these are people that have a lot to give and have a lot of intelligence and a lot of strength. And to downplay that, to dismiss that is at your own terror, at your at your own peril, which is what the council finds out immediately, because Whitney has control of the Dark Force to a large extent at this point, and she is able to wipe out the people that take her out, half of the council, and then her husband as well, who tries to throw out a very weak apology, which she is not taking. And then she has the remaining few members that could be important for her. Among those, it was really nice. Ray Wise, of course, is going to survive as head of Roxxon, Hugh Jones. And I don't know if anybody caught, but he calls her Madam. Yes, madam. One, it's kind of the perfect yes, madam, of course, you know, I'm bowing down to you. But two, it is referencing to the title of Madam Mask, which Whitney is definitely demonstrating a whole different power set than Madam Mask had, but still a great character, a great little reference, just a small little Easter egg that was thrown out. The other point that I really liked with Whitney was when she walks into Stark's lab. And yeah, Wilkes is in the corner, but she doesn't even really pay attention to him immediately. The first thing is she's, oh, Stark's working on this, and he's working on this, and oh, he's got a palladium core. Oh, it's a shame he's wasting his time making film, which was kind of another fun reference back to her until recent previous job as an actress. But just a really nice demonstration, again, of Whitney's intelligence. This is her as a scientist walking in, immediately understanding the work that Stark is developing, one of the top minds in the country, and she's just, oh, he's working on this. Oh, I see what he's doing here. Oh, well, this is fascinating. Just a really nice, character moment. You know, again, showing of what an intelligent scientist that she actually is, as well as going a little bit nuts. And then with Wilkes, we're having a little bit of a story arc going with him. One, again, in the very beginning, we get to see as he had disappeared what it is that he is seeing, and that is that Dark Force parallel universe where everything is very shadowy and different. It was really nice to see that. I love it when they're expanding the universe and showing us these different things as opposed just to the human perception and reaction to what's going on. I think it was really nice to involve that vision in with the audience to let us see what it is that Wilkes is seeing. And of course the creepier, darker area that is drawing him further in. But he does seem to be getting a bit more unstable as he is getting unstable. You know, as he's disappearing, that anger is coming out. And there is a level of frustration and just regular humanity that can explain that. But I am starting to think it is the interaction of the Dark Force with him that is starting to bring out that kind of evil, reactionary, angry-driven force. And he does coin it, which is another quick thing. He does coin the phrase, the Dark Force. You know, I am at the control of this dark force that is controlling me. Much better, much more descriptive, obviously, than zero matter. But I still think it's interesting to see how the force is starting to affect his personality. And is that part of the reason why Whitney Frost is going much darker herself? Is that who she is, or is that a contribution of this energy that is now inhabiting her? That's a good question. Oh, and thanks so much, Wilkes, for freaking Anna out, as if she didn't have enough to deal with the whole conversation as Anna's trying to help him build this device and put these things together, and he's just like, well, they could all die at any moment. Oh, that's horrible. It's just don't do that, man. That's she doesn't need that. She's already trying to be supportive, and as she says later on, maybe sometimes I appreciate the lie. Sometimes it's better to not entirely know. And of course, the final big revelation that he can draw the dark force much stronger than Whitney. You know, when Whitney shows up in the lab, she is there to pull the dark force out of him to get more. And what she finds out quickly is that he's actually stronger in attracting the dark force than she is. He almost ripped it out of her. You know, that's setting things up, of course. Now Whitney wants him. Now she sees as someone that has a power or strength that she could study and exploit, and gives him the false story as, oh, together you and I can work. But we know that that's not going to happen. Frost isn't going to share anything with anyone. And then, of course, we get all of the relationship filler throughout the episode. And I just call it filler simply because it seems to detract a lot from the developing story. I know this is part of the internal character development of Peggy, but I don't know. It seems just kind of like filler space to me. So we find out that yes, Violet did call it off with Sousa, as we suspect at the end of last episode. Once she found out that Sousa's really more in love with Peggy, she's not going to be the second person. She's not going to be, you know, choice number 2. So she dropped it off. Nice little scene between kind of the standard, oh, he broke it off. Oh, well, I'll fight for it. No, you don't understand. No, I'll go and tell her all by myself. No, it's because I love you, Peggy. Ooh. It was sweet, was nice. We get the little hand reach out, and of course Jarvis hearing everything on the other end. So that happened kind of quick, but on the other hand, as soon as she gets back to Wilkes, she like dropped Wilkes like a hot potato. It was just, she didn't care at all. Wilkes is trying to get a little comfy and connective with her, and she's like, oh, we have other priorities. We gotta get Dottie. It's like, I'm disappearing. I could be gone at any moment. Yeah, we'll get you. We've gotta save Dottie. It's her priorities become suddenly very different. And obviously, this could be another reason why Wilkes gets a little more angry. I think it's more he might lose a little bit more control. But I thought that it was kind of harsh for her to drop him as fast as she did. But we did at least have that nice little conversational moment between Jarvis and Peggy. You know, Jarvis being in the relationship, being the more stable one, can actually bring things up and be like, hey, you had a nice little kiss with Wilkes there, but you seem to be all blushing, getting away. Plus, I did overhear all that conversation you had with Sousa, so like, what's up? And again, at least they broach the situation and kind of understand that, you know, Peggy has gone from being not with anyone and pining over the loss of Steve Rogers to suddenly having two very fine suitors coming after her. As Jarvis put it, has gone from famine to feast. And again, they don't really get anywhere with that. They're not really drawing any lines, but at least they had that conversation, that there is an acknowledgement of what is going on, and that Peggy on her end is just confused. She doesn't know what to do or how to handle things, and is certainly out of the comfort zone that she has of being an agent and just dealing with those types of issues. I think the emotional stuff is not something that she has as much practice in really dealing with. So by episode's end, Dottie has escaped. Whitney Frost has shot Anna, and you know Jarvis is going to be looking for revenge because of that. And Vernon Masters has taken over the West Coast office of the SSR. Remember, the SSR is part of the War Department where Vernon Masters is part of, so that makes sense. And a quick question, would that happen? Like, can you just step in and take this over? But reflecting back, yes, he is part of the War Department. SSR does fall under his purview, and you know, obviously, I don't know which is higher up, New York or Los Angeles office, but Jack Thompson is in Vernon's pocket anyway, so that really doesn't matter. And then also we have Peggy, who has quit the SSR. possibly, not entirely sure, that was really just a conversation between her and Jack Thompson, that Peggy is more than willing to walk away from the SSR because this is more important to her than trying to please Jack Thompson. But they don't really settle that up if that's actually what it is that happened. So I guess we'll sort of have to wait and see. Now, next week we get another double episode back to back that's going to be leading up to the finale. So just really 2 more weeks before this is all wrapped up. A lot of stuff to cover, a lot of things. Really can't wait to see where they are going to go with this. Couple little asides. One, we know that Haley Atwell has been cast in Convictions, at least for the pilot episode, which is also at ABC. Whether that's going to be a full series or not, that might be implying that Agent Carter, this might be the last season. We don't know. The numbers haven't really been what the network has been looking for, so that might stay as a mid-season. They might be holding on to Atwell just to keep her on the slate and possibly be able to do flashback episodes and contributions in with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Really kind of up in the air right now. We'll have to wait and sort of see how all of that progresses. Oh, also as just sort of a personal aside, I'm going to be on the Marvel Movie News tomorrow. I'm going to be a guest of the Marvel Movie News. Going to take my family down. We get to see it on the Cosmic Couch. It should be a lot of fun. That's over on the Popcorn Talk Network, if you guys want to check that out. Really do a great show over there, and I'm excited to go over there and geek out on the couch. But with everything else, we'll just have to wait till next week and see how all of this pans out. Please remember, I do reviews of Walking Dead and of Black Sails also. Those both usually come out on Mondays. I try to get them as quick as possible, but sometimes I can't get the Sunday show for Black Sails, so usually I'll do both Black Sails and Walking Dead will be out on Monday, and then we have Agent Carter will be out on Wednesday. Also did a review for Deadpool. You can check that out right here on my page. But for Agent Carter, for this episode, we are all done. Please press like if you enjoyed the show. Feel free to subscribe. You can join us every week with every episode. Comments in the section below, always appreciated. You can catch me on Twitter. I'm at Darren Jakes. Otherwise, I'm D, and I am out of here. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.